to Made Futures Live. Every Tuesday leading up to the Made Futures exhibition taking place from the 22nd of March this year, we will be holding live interviews with members to talk about their inspirational stories in the Made Futures book, which we will be publishing also early this March. Sorry. So today we have Elliot. Hi, Elliot. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Very well. Thank you for asking. So for everyone that doesn't know, Elliot Underwood, having only joined Micromesh for the past 12 months, as a 19-year-old, has made some massive changes within the business. So I decided to bring Elliot on today as I found his story particularly inspiring for the changes that he's made within the business that has made a massive difference. So the filter manufacturer at Micromesh has benefited from a new e-commerce website, a first for the company, my apologies, and a facial recognition clocking in system thanks to Elliot's contribution. So thanks again, Elliot, for joining us. So firstly, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and why you chose a career in manufacturing?
Yeah, well, as you introduced me, so my name's Elliot, I'm 19. I'm a business development engineer at Micromesh. So for the main part, my job involves just moving the business forward in terms of, I'm sure some people watching already know, Industry 4.0, so, building upon automation, data capture, analytics, e-commerce, those sort of things. Really pushing businesses forward into the 21st century, into automation and, the cloud and systems like that, to, just make businesses more effective overall. And that's what I'm doing here at Micromesh. So it's, as for why I got into manufacturing and engineering, so, for myself, I've always been quite mathematically minded. I've always been wondering, look at something, think, how does it work? I can't just let something just work without me knowing how it works. So for myself, moving into engineering and manufacturing just seemed like a natural next step for me. And that's what I found here at Micromesh.
Perfect. Okay. My apologies. My colleague has just messaged to say that we end that now. Hopefully you can see us now. Hopefully you can see us now. It looks like our video is enabled and we're all live and all toggled on and things like that. So hopefully everybody can see us. If one of my colleagues could let me know that we still can't, then that would be great. But it sounds like our voices are still there, so there's something happening. Thank you for that, Elliot. Really interesting stuff. So first of all, we'd like to just talk about the website. So Micromesh has recently set up the new website that allows customers to cross-reference part numbers and purchase a product with it delivered to their door within just 3 days, thanks to Elliot's contribution, as we mentioned before. So tell us a bit more about this, Elliot, and how the idea came about, how the idea came about and how it's benefited the business so far.
Well, Filter Finder has actually been an idea in Micromesh, since I think it was about 2016, they've been trying to implement it. And with the recent events, me coming into the business and knowing all this stuff about e-commerce, engineering, those sorts of things, I've been really pushing this forward, and it's really, giving them the catalyst to go into e-commerce, and build the Filter Finder website. So what Filter Finder does is for one filter, you may have, 5, 10, 15 different part numbers, all relating to the same thing. So we cross-reference, over 100,000 part numbers from 200 different OEMs to give our customer exactly what they're looking for. So, we may have a customer coming on for a certain part number, they can't find it anywhere else. They come to Filter Finder, type in that part number, and they could buy it straight online and have the parts, to their door within 3 days, ready to be installed on machine or whatever they need it to be used on. So in terms of how it's benefiting the business so far, it's really allowed us to push ourselves forward more into the end user market where Micromesh was, we're more into distributors ourselves. But, it's allowed us to push onto the guy who's got a tractor or machine that's down. He needs the parts as soon as possible. He orders it online, and it's there within the next few days, ready for install. We've also, in terms of another way of how it's benefited us, is we can see what parts are currently trending. So, if we see that tractor filters are really trending, for example, it allows Micromesh to build on top of that trend and really push our marketing, and our development team forward in that sort of area. So yeah, it's been fantastic for the business.
Perfect, great stuff. So the facial recognition part, the clocking in and clocking out system, what was the need for this and how did you come up with the idea for that? And also, in addition to that, what was it like contribute to something so important for the staff's well-being and customers' well-being with everything going on at the moment?
So actually the idea came around was I was at a bowling alley And I saw one of the staff come in. They looked at this machine. It just clocked them in. And until about a year ago, what we used to have to do is we'd walk in. You have a piece of paper on the side. You'd type in or you'd write with a pencil. What time you clocked in, and then that would be given to the accountant at the end of the week. So I saw this. I went to our MD James and went, I've seen this UAttend software. It looks fantastic. And obviously then, COVID-19 came around. And so you don't want everyone touching exactly the same pencil. So, we really push forward with UAttend. So, one of our employees will look at this machine, it clocks them in at exactly the right time, and then they walk off the rest of their day. It's amazing. And, while it was hard moving everyone into it in the first place, you have people stood in front of this machine for 10 seconds going, it doesn't work. Everyone's really on board with it right now. And it's really benefited us in terms of efficiency, and getting everyone in on time.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, please continue.
I was going to say, another functionality we managed to adapt it to was obviously you can clock into work and clock out at the end of the day. I've also allowed it to clock into jobs. So, now we know to the second, to the minute, how long it takes us to do a job. Building on Industry 4.0, it's really allowed us to move forward with our manufacturing, and our analytics, and improve our efficiency for our customers.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's quite a big project as a 19-year-old. It's quite a big project that you've taken on for yourself. Did you find it difficult, and how long did it take you to incorporate this into the business?
I think we started in March and I finished it just at the start of April. So it took me just over a month to get it integrated. The software wasn't the hardest part for me. It was the people, trying to teach everyone this new bit of software to use. It's definitely the hardest bit, but yeah. I've always been quite technically minded, so for me, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so you definitely felt a sense of achievement once you did this for the business.
Yeah. God, yeah.
And have you had any comments from your peers, from your colleagues on the new facial recognition system?
Yeah. To be fair, when it not as much anymore now. It's like the new norm. When it first started getting up, people come in all the time. Oh, it's fantastic. It's so much better. Oh, thank you. It really makes me personally, feel a real sense of pride for what I've done. I implemented that. I got that sorted. And seeing how that affects people in their daily lives.
Yeah, definitely. And that's actually something we didn't mention when we were talking about the website just a moment ago. That's quite a big project as someone for as young as yourself. But did you do that all by yourself, setting up the website and the e-commerce side of it? Did you do that all by yourself?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Yeah, we did have. So we've got a computer engineer who works, third party. He set up the website for me. And I went, right, you can leave it now. I'll do the rest of it myself. So I designed it myself. I collected all the data myself and implemented it. And I'm still working on it, even now. And I started that project in June. So it's going to be ongoing for forever, probably. Yeah. But, now, every time I look at it, I go meet my friends or, I see them on FaceTime and stuff like that. I'm like, can you put the website for me? Go have a look. So you see that. It's just, I'm really, really proud of it. And even people at work are complimenting it. Whenever we get an order in, it's an amazing sense of achievement and pride.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so how long did it take you to build this website? And because I know it was a thing within the business, you mentioned back in 2016 that you had the idea for the business. How long did it take you to build this website, and was it difficult?
Yeah. Yeah, God, yeah. I mean, before I even started here, I didn't know anything about. I've never done web design. I've never done anything like that before. So James R&D, really threw me in the deep end there and went, right, we've got this website and it's an idea we've had for years. This is how it's going to work. Go, do it. And I really just took that upon myself. And whether it was working nights, I'd go home. I couldn't get out of my head. I'd carry on working when I got home. I'd carry on working in the mornings before work. It's been a long, hard project, but I think the end result has made me over the moon.
Yeah.
To see my hard work finally pay off has been just an amazing achievement for myself. And it's been incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great as a young person that you've had the opportunities to be able to make such big differences within a business. I think a lot of people don't really quite understand that young people have such a massive influence over businesses, and I think your story really highlights that your thoughts and your capabilities in terms of digital can make that big difference. Yeah. So it'd be nice to find out a bit more about what you've been doing within the business. So what other projects have you been doing, and can you tell us more about it? have you been helping out with other things, and how's it benefiting your career in manufacturing?
So with myself being quite technically minded, I think, people here have picked up on that. So recently we got on a new machine, which is an XY table. So you got one arm moving this way, one arm moving another way. And so my next project was to code that. Now, I've never coded anything, like this before in my life. But they brought this new machine in, I've coded it up. It's been absolutely fantastic. And to young people, I'd say, just give it a go. I never knew how to code. I never knew anything about facial recognition. I didn't know anything about building websites. And now I do. Just teaching myself or, learning from other people who've done it has just been a fantastic experience for me. And if someone asks you to do something, or you've got the opportunity to do something, even if you don't feel like you can do it, just give it a go. What's the worst thing that can happen? You might be able to do it. Well, at least you've tried. And that's really the ethos that I've put into my work here. Just try it. Try and code that machine. Try and implement this new thing. Try and do that. And it doesn't work every time. For myself, I've had projects that haven't gone the right way. So don't let that discourage you. Just build upon your mistakes and don't let them affect you again in future. And just, push forward each time. As long as you're making progress, I think that's what's the most important thing.
Yeah, and that's a great piece of advice, especially for those that are starting out in apprenticeships and may not, feel that they can speak up or express their opinion within a business because they feel they've got a lack of experience. But I think, your story really highlights that fresh perspective is really good for businesses. So just to finish off, Elliot, tell us a little bit about what your future plans are for working in manufacturing. Where you hope it takes you, essentially.
Yeah, well, so obviously currently I'm working in Micromesh, but I've also, while I'm working here, I'm also applying to the RAF. So I'm going into the RAF as an engineer, and I found, that some of the stuff. So I've had a few stages in my process to joining the RAF. I found that the things I'm doing here at Micromesh have really helped me. So in an interview, if they've asked, what have you done, what achievements have you had, I can explain to them. Well, I set up this facial recognition software. I've done this, I've done that. And it's allowed me to build up my skill set and really push forward, and build up my own kind of, personal CV to allow me, to move further in engineering, especially in the RAF. This job has allowed me to think much more technically minded, which I think when you're working on a multi-million-pound jet, you'd hope that would help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm sure it's given you the confidence to be able to do those things. So good luck in the RAF. For when that happens, but I'm sure you'll do very, very well. And just to finish off, is there anything in particularly that you've done with Micromesh that you're really, really proud of? Obviously, other than the website and the facial recognition, which is two massive, really good things. Is there anything else within the business that that's really stood out for you and has really helped you as an engineer?
So I think, to be fair, the whole process, before I came to this company, if you'd have asked me to explain a filter to you, I know this obviously, not everyone watching this will be in filters, but if you'd have asked me to explain a filter to you, I wouldn't have had a clue. And now it's not necessarily about the filter or about the car or the engine or whatever you're working on. It's about the mindset that it puts you in, and the thinking it requires. So I can now take what I know about filters in that I think much more technically minded and move that onto something else. So if I was to move into car manufacture, I could move that into that sort of area. I think for myself, just improving how I think and my own personal mindset has really, really helped me, and hopefully help me in future, wherever it may lead me.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Elliot, for joining me today. I do really appreciate that. It seems you had some video issues at the start, but they seem to have sorted themselves out in between. So hopefully you guys saw us throughout that and didn't have any issues. So you can watch out for Elliot's story in the Made Futures book, which I mentioned will be published in early March, and is titled as Manufacturer Reaps Benefits of a Young Person's Perspective, which Elliot has highlighted very well during this interview today. We'll also be publishing the article later today on the MIM website, so you can look out for it there as well. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you all here next week, where we hear from a Made in Yorkshire member with our colleague, Joe Myko. But for now, thank you again, Elliot, for joining us. I do really appreciate that you decided to share your story with us today, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, and yourself. Thank you for everyone who's watching. Thank you for inviting me to this interview. I really enjoyed it, and I hope it's helped some people. Yes, most definitely. Inspired some people, definitely. All right. Thanks, Elliot. Right, cheers. Bye. Bye.